Welcome to this week's episode of Becoming More Me. I'm your host, Theresa Lear Levine, EFT master practitioner, hypnotherapist, international best-selling author, and founder of Becoming More Me. And this podcast is really for high-achieving ADHD entrepreneurs who want to be more and do less. And that is so aligned with today's episode because today I'm talking to MJ Renshaw, and she is the founder of the Being Method, talking about being more, doing less. And that is a global breathwork certification program that blends science and spirituality to help people heal from the inside out. She's also the host of the Being Method podcast, and she's got a background in anatomy, physiology, energy medicine, and a lot of lived experience with emotional shutdown. And she writes with precision and deep tenderness as the author of How to Cry, which that title alone really says something about permission and embodiment. She lives in Ontario, Canada with her family, her dog, and a really deep devotion to helping people come back to their bodies. Her program, the Being Method, is a breathwork and embodiment practice that challenges people to stop performing in their lives, you know I love that, and start inhabiting them. So today, we're going to explore breathwork, but we're going to do it in a really real life, practical way and learn where breath meets action, especially for ADHD entrepreneurs and professionals. So let's dive in and meet MJ. It all starts now. Welcome to the show, MJ. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I always like to start, before we dive into business and all the awesome geeky stuff I'm sure we're going to be learning about with breathwork and everything else, I just like to know who you are, where you live, who you like spending your time with, maybe even some hobbies that have nothing to do with work. What you got?
I'm a horse girl,
Ooh,
like horse girl through and through. I think I'm the fourth generation woman in my lineage to be like horsey obsessed.
I love it.
Yeah, so that's what I did as a kid. I'm in Ontario, Canada. Grew up kind of on a farm and yeah, lots of animals in my life, which has been a blessing. And then I went to university here in Canada as well, studied philosophy. I'm like very curious. I love to know all the big questions and try to figure
Yeah.
out the answers, like who are we? Why are we here? What's morality?
Still
I
figuring it
drove
all
my
out, I
mom.
gotta say.
Pardon?
I'm still figuring all that out, I gotta say.
No, I mean, no one has it figured out. I like bothered my mom so much with those questions, and now I bother my husband with them. They're both just like, why do we need to know? But yeah, and then I got really interested in health and sciences and studied osteopathy here. I dropped out of both programs because I just wanted to do like a pivot and switch in my life. And it's one of my weaknesses, which is that I won't finish something that I don't like, but I think, one of my strengths too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Because if something's not aligned, there's no point.
I don't want to waste another minute. Yeah, I think it was hard for people around me because I only had 3 months to go in both programs, and they were both like, "Well, just finish it." Um, but I think now, where they can see me on my entrepreneurial journey, they're like, "Okay, now we get it. You really did just have to carve your own path." But
Yeah. How long ago did you found the Being Method?
we are celebrating our 5-year birthday
That's
soon,
awesome.
in a couple days. Yeah,
Very cool.
yeah.
Yeah, around the same time that I think we're coming up on 6 years, but around the same time that I formed Becoming More Me. So yeah, that's really awesome. So what got you into breath work? Like what led you to that as being something that you just knew people needed more of?
I feel like it's like the age-old story. Like I needed it myself,
Of
you
course,
know.
of course.
I have memories of being a child and going to bed at night and like counting, tapping with my hand and counting my breath and trying to hold. And I think it's something intuitively a lot of people have memory of doing, playing around with their breath as a kid. I mean, humans have been doing it for thousands and
Yeah.
thousands of years across almost every single culture. So it makes sense that it's something that's very intuitive to us. But
Hmm.
it was really introduced into my life after my dad took his own life, I was about 22 and I'd had a rough upbringing, like, that child adverse experience score, like I'm a 9 out of 10.
Ugh.
Um,
Yeah, the score that you don't want to ace the ace
you
test.
don't want to ace that test. No, I didn't even know about it until a couple of years ago. And I was like, oh, that's dark.
I'm an
Blessing and a,
overachiever.
yeah, a blessing and a curse. Um, but my dad took his own life and it was kind of like the cherry on top for me. My brother had passed away a couple years earlier, my only sibling.
Oh man.
And I was like, okay, I need something. So I went and did my yoga teacher training and then ended up doing a breathwork training as well because I really liked that portion of it. And then just used it for myself throughout school. And yeah, and then went to osteopathy thinking, well, I love the sciences, I love helping people. That career wasn't quite the right fit for me because I love freedom. I can't sit in an office all day. Like I just can't. I was like, I
I
can't
hear
do
you.
this. I can't
I
do
can
this.
sit in my office all day if I need to, but I don't want to sit in anybody else's office doing anything for anybody else other than me.
Yes, I'm very much the same. So I deked out of that career really quick and started this because I was like, well, I've loved breath work, for so long, and it's helped me so much in the last, I guess, 10 years at that point. So then I was like, well, I know the sciences, and there's no science. I looked at getting recertified, and at the time there was no breathwork courses, certifications that were run by women, and there were none that focused on the science. And I had just finished studying physiology for 4.5 years. So I was like, okay, I'll just make it myself and we'll see how this goes. And like from our first launch, it's been shockingly successful. So yeah, it's been great.
Oh, I'm super happy for you. That's awesome. And I think the science is important. I mean, I don't know. My favorite modalities in my business are EFT tapping and hypnotherapy. And there's science and there's woo. And I love that we get to mix them both up. But, and I feel like breath work's very much the same. Like you can have as much fun with it as you want to. And also it's like, it's going to work no matter what, as long as you're kind of like getting the basics right. So tell us more about that. I mean, ultimately, I'd love to kind of get to a place where we can talk about where breathwork meets taking action, because I feel like that is a sticky point for a lot of my listeners. But maybe we could start with just a little bit of the basics of like, why is it so important and why are like the majority of us doing it wrong?
Big questions. Okay. First, I'll just touch on I love that you talked about the science of spirituality because we're really big on that. And I think, people sometimes can put a little hat on and get into either camp, but at the end of the day, they're the same thing.
Yep.
They are the exact same thing. And I love the intersection of them. We update our course all the time with the new science. I mean, in the time that I've made this course, just like our module on quantum biology
Mm.
has expanded so much because um, the science in that arena has expanded so much. So I love that intersection. I think it's really important. And I love talking to people who don't quite understand that they're the same thing, because I think it's very relieving to be like, oh, I don't have to be against anybody. Like, I don't have
Yeah.
to stick up for science, or I don't have to fight against scientists. Like, it's just, oh, we're all doing the same thing, which is beautiful. Okay, now to I think it was your third question. Why are we doing it all wrong? It's a loaded one. There's all sorts of theories. Like there's Weston Price, who was a very famous dentist. Controversial for some people. The Weston Price Foundation today is pretty controversial. But leaving that aside, just looking at the research he did. So why, I have a British background, British Celtic background. Everyone in my family has very crowded teeth. That comes from breathing problems. So some people would say it's the diet. We switched our diet however many thousands of years ago to eat mostly cooked food, maybe even eat some inflammatory things that ended up blocking our sinuses. And then we ended up with a shrinking of the jaw and a shrinking of the sinus passageways.
Yeah.
That's a theory. I'm not quite sure. Maybe even like, things like pushing to wean kids earlier and earlier and earlier than people used to do in the past. Like people used to breastfeed until around 7. And now today, it's very common to hear like 6 months, 1 year. And this is not to shame anybody or anything. Like
Sure.
I love moms. I love moms no matter what. But these are big changes. So they
Yeah.
change the way our tongue sits in our mouth, and it changes the way that we can breathe. So, I get comments on stuff on Instagram all the time of people being like, why would we do breath work? People can breathe. I'm like, of course you're breathing. Like yeah, 100%. But there's just a way that we used to breathe that is much different than today. Even thinking of the idea, every time you pick up your phone or look at a screen, it changes the way you breathe. So if you look at your
Interesting.
screen time and then you're looking at it being like, oh, I'm on a screen for 8 hours a day, and then I drive home in a motorized vehicle, that's also very uncommon in our like lineage. And then
Sure.
you get home and you watch TV. So you're spending like a lot of people are spending a lot of their time watching screens, and that changes the way you breathe. Um, so I think we're just the modern way that we live is conducive to chronic stress. When we're chronically stressed, we breathe differently, and that it creates almost like a positive loop. Not positive meaning it's good, positive meaning it's like one thing begets another thing, and then that thing begets it again. So, a stressful situation can make you breathe shallowly, hyperventilate a little bit, maybe breathe through your mouth. And then because you're breathing in that way, everything gets more stressful. And then because you're more stressed, you start to breathe in that way a little bit more.
Yeah.
And people can kind of
Habituation.
get trapped there if they don't have the knowledge and awareness that your breath is the remote control for your nervous system.
Yeah.
It just is. It's built, that's the way our body is built. So, if you want to feel differently in a nervous system way, you can choose to breathe differently. And it's the most uncomplicated mechanism ever. So, if you want to feel calm, you lengthen your exhales. If you want to feel excited and have more energy, you lengthen your inhales and you can breathe a little bit quicker. I think at the end of the day, I also like to put the cherry on top of this is like we should not be breathing through our mouth. You can do that in small doses, like if you're in a yoga class or you're doing a certain breathwork technique and it feels good for you in that moment, by all means, I don't want to breathe through my mouth almost never. Like I never want to do that. It's not what it's built
Yeah.
for. So how are we breathing wrong? James Nestor in his book Breath, he quoted that 98% of people are breathing incorrectly for our physiology. So that just when you break it down, what that looks like is don't mouth breathe, don't breathe shallowly throughout the day, and try to take a big full breath. Try to have a 6 second inhale, 6 second exhale. That's
Yeah.
kind of
For
it.
people that aren't familiar with why we don't want to mouth breathe, there's a lot of reasons. Can you just fill us in on some of the reasons why that is an unhealthy practice?
Sorry, take a big sip of coffee. I think the biggest one is your immune system. Right. So in our sinuses, we have so much lymphatic tissue there and immune system tissues so that if we breathe in any viruses or bacteria or anything, it's not going to go into our body. Right. A lot of people have their tonsils removed because they mouth breathe. So their tonsils get overworked. They're constantly having to fight off infections, getting infected. So that I think for immune health is probably number one. Number two, oral health.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you have cavities, things like that, even bacteria in your mouth that can lead to heart disease, Alzheimer's, we know oral health is a big one. Um, Breathing through your mouth is not it. You gotta shut your mouth. Let me think. What are some of the others? Chronic dehydration. Breathing through your mouth, when you exhale,
Oh,
all
yeah.
that humidity is going to leave. You're going to be chronically dehydrated. That's going to lead to a whole slew of issues from your fascia
Mhm.
to your skin to your nervous system.
Yeah,
Your
I
nervous
very
system.
rarely find myself mouth breathing, but every now and then I'll have one of those nights where for some reason I do, and oh my gosh, I can't get like to a cup of water fast enough, and my
It's
body is like
horrible.
so dried
Yeah.
out, and I know it immediately, even though I'm not conscious of it because I was asleep. It's like I was obviously breathing through my mouth. So yeah, not
Yeah.
great for the oral health at all. Um,
No,
I think that's
it's awful.
and
I
then I
think,
know, like what you were saying with the like the pattern and the loop and the repetitive way that we're just always on the screens and that's always affecting our breathing. I know a lot of my listeners are ADHD entrepreneurs and they're living in these cycles of intensity. Maybe it's not even just the screens, right? But kind of intensity and crash tends to be sort of the pattern. And then the nervous system ends up feeling very scattered and flooded and it's stressed and it's chaotic. So, where would someone in those states start with breath work?
That's a really good question, and I'm going to say something controversial.
Go
So
for it.
most people would think, "Oh, I'm, very A-type, or maybe I have ADHD and I'm very like brrr throughout the day." You would think, "Oh, you need to do something calming.
Yeah.
You need to do a calm." Yeah, exactly. Every single person I've ever met, especially every single woman I've ever met with ADHD, that's their nightmare. Like, let's sit you down and let your thoughts just run rampant. No, I don't think you have to start there. So with the way we teach it in our certificate, obviously depends on every single person. There's no prescriptions. This is not a prescription world, but look at your nervous system and where it's at right now. We know ourselves, we know our bodies. Where are you? How fast are you blinking? How fast are your thoughts going? My barometer for this, actually, surprisingly, even though I'm in the somatic world, is not anything to do with my physiology. It's more, how am I feeling about the external world? If I feel like the world is a place full of fear and the world is a place that's really bad, it changes my thoughts, right? Then I'm like, ooh, I'm in a like pretty sympathetic state. If I'm thinking everything is possible, the world is miraculous, everything's filled with love, I know I'm in a pretty good place with my breath and with my body and with my safety. Um, so if you are vibrating at this level that's very fast,
Mhm.
meet yourself where you are.
Yeah.
Do a more sympathetic breath work and bring yourself slowly down, because we can create something if you just go sit yourself in a chair and think, I'm going to put on a timer on my phone for 10 minutes. I'm going to breathe slowly. For some people, that's going to work amazingly and it's going to feel really good. For some people, that's going to make them spin out. And if you're one of the spin out people, what's happening is called a dorsal drop. So you are changing the state that your vagus nerve is in too quickly, and it's creating actually a sense of unsafety for you.
Yeah.
So if you're someone who lives in the brrrr all the time, the quiet is going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel like, oh, what's about to happen? Something's about to happen, right? A lot of us have trauma. We're just waiting. So meet yourself where you're at. There's no right or wrong. If you're someone who buzzes around all day, you can buzz around in your breath work too. And then maybe one day you'll be able to meet yourself a little bit lower, a little bit slower. And
Yeah.
yeah, you don't have to be a person that can go sit and meditate for an hour right away.
Yeah. You might not have an answer to this, but I'm just curious because I know a lot of my clients respond really well to humming,
Hmm.
working with the vagus nerve and things like
Hmm.
that. Any good ways or fun exercises where we can combine breath work and humming?
Oh, yeah. On the exhale, you just hum or singing.
Yeah.
Just sing. Like if anyone's ever taken singing lessons or done a choir, what's the first thing that they teach you?
Yes.
They teach you breath work. Right?
It's a big part of
No
it.
singer, there's no singer on the planet who hasn't done breath work, because they teach you, like those singers who can really go, like Adele, like she's done a lot of breath work training. So you don't even have to do breath work. You can just sing.
Yeah. I was having a conversation with one of my sons this morning before he went off to school because they were going to festival today for chorus. And I was like, oh, I'm going to be talking about breathwork today on my podcast. And we were talking about ways that that's come in for him and things like that too.
It's
So
so,
yeah,
yeah, I remember
so integral.
I did choir, and I remember them having us put our hands on our belly and fill it up and see how long that we can brrr it out so that you can hold those notes, and it is breath work, right? Whether you're like adding vocal to it or not. Like if you
Hmm.
were to sing and you take away the sound,
Yeah.
it's breath, right? Like, and you're just adding this other layer of a tone to it, which is so beautiful. And we know that those vibrations are so healing. I think, you know, shamans, well, one of the first questions they'll ask people is, when did you stop singing and when did you stop dancing?
Hmm.
Because that's when you stop living, right? I'm a big proponent in singing and dancing as healing modalities.
Oh yeah, for sure. Awesome. So with these type A ADHD high achieving women in mind, oftentimes one of the biggest things I see is this idea of like, I know what to do. Like, I mean, so many of the women in my world are super smart, very intelligent. They've taken all the courses and certifications and all the ways to prove themselves and everything else. But they just can't seem to do the thing. Like, we hit that kind of like invisible ADHD wall of inaction and fear and things like that. How can breath move us through moments like that?
Mhm. That's a really good question. I think what's been true in my life is that there's no thing that you can do that prepares you to take the next step.
Hmm.
So I always use the analogy of learning to drive. Here in Canada, before you drive on the highway, you've got to like do your test with driving someone with on the highway, and they give you a book. And it's like, okay, so I'm supposed to read this book and all of a sudden be able to go significantly faster in this car with all these cars and transport trucks going significantly faster too.
Right.
And there's no amount of reading that book that's going to prepare you. Like
No.
you're still going to white knuckle it. And you
And it's
go,
still really hard. I'm only
it,
laughing because that same son that's going to festival today is also in
yeah,
driver's ed and
it's hard.
getting his
It's so, and it's
license.
funny because we're so weird. I don't even think when I'm driving.
Yeah. And then you
So
think of all the things that you really do have to think about
yes, a lot.
that just
But
become
this is,
automatic.
it's the same as anything in life. Like the first time I did a podcast, I was sweating through my shirt. And now I'm like, like clearing my
Yeah. Now
throat
we're
in a
just
gross
like
way
having a
on it.
conversation, and if you don't know the answer,
Exactly.
you're like,
It's the same
whatever.
as anything. Like there's the the movement forward is the work. And I think we see that all the time with people thinking like I just have to take this next thing or I just have to do this next thing. What can help? I say somatic tools, right? So anything like EFT tapping, which you do, um, anything like breath work, get out of your head and into your body.
Right. As I say, well, everything you're talking about is very much embodiment,
Yes.
right? So embodying that next level.
Because you
Um,
can cultivate just a sliver of safety for yourself. Cope
yeah.
and then move to the next spot. Take that step, take that little step, and then you'll be comfortable there. Create some safety for yourself. Take that next step,
Yeah. So I guess
and then you do that forever.
right. So I guess I'm just trying to figure out how we can demonstrate that embodiment in an understandable way. Because I feel like, I mean, I do this all the time too, where it's just like we just have to create more safety. And then everybody's kind of like, but how? So it's like, where do
Yeah.
you see, like maybe some real life moments for you? Like, where do you see breath work help you, whether you're actually using it or you're aware of how it's helped you, like with parenting
Oh,
or partnership
parenting. Yeah,
or
parenting, 100%.
business?
Yeah, parenting is a big one.
Have you joined the Becoming More Me community over on School yet? It is one of the fastest growing distraction free platforms for learning and connection. And it's where the magic's happening for the Becoming More Me community as well. Inside, you will find a high vibe circle of heart centered, ambitious entrepreneurs and professionals doing deep work to become who they truly feel called to be in life, in business, in love, health, and wealth, and doing it in ways that feel aligned, authentic, and full of pleasure. The community is packed with tons of valuable resources too that you can start using right away, as well as guidance to find the ones that are going to help you so that you don't need to waste time. We're talking tools, training, and practices to support your growth, all for free. Plus, you can find info on working with me more deeply, whether it's through one-on-one coaching, small group experiences, or the Becoming More Me with EFT program, as well as information on upcoming workshops and other events. To join, head over to school.com/discovery. That's SKOOL.com/discovery. Type in my name, Theresa, Lear, Levine, and you will find the Becoming More Me community right there. Click on it to join. I can't wait to welcome you to the community.
Um, there's moments where my house is erupting into chaos
Oh, yeah.
and both kids are crying at the same time. Someone's put poo somewhere. Like it's like, chaos. The dog's eating it. Like it's like pure chaos in
Thank
here.
God for the dog.
Oh God, the dog. He's always joining in. Um, so, for me in those moments, like breath work is my hit the pause button
Mhm.
because your instinct as a parent is to initially parent the way you were parented. Some of us were parented by sweet angels who knew how to regulate their nervous systems, and some of us were not. And, I grew up in a household that was there was no pause button. It was reaction. Everybody's reacting to each other immediately from the nervous system that they're at. And it's like, oh, cycle that never ends, word cycle that never ends. And my job as a parent is to try to be the energy of the house that I want it to be. And that doesn't mean that I'm waking up every morning in the best mood ever. I'm not wearing peasant dresses and making sourdough, although I did make sourdough this morning, but I was actually wearing a top covered in egg yolk. Like breath work, when those moments happen, I just stop and I literally just close my eyes for 3 minutes and I do like I just breathe and then I choose how I'm going to
Mhm.
respond. I choose
Yeah.
how I'm going to respond because when I first became a parent, my initial reaction was to react the way my parents would have. That was what
Sure.
my brain came up with because it was all that was modeled and
Yeah,
all
I
that
mean,
it
and it's
knew.
programming that comes in before you're ever
I
able to
know.
question
Yeah.
it.
Like my
Like
husband
you
and
were
I were
not at an
joking.
age or
Yeah.
awareness level to question any of that
Totally
when it was like
programmed.
drilled in.
My husband and I would joke about how many times my daughter would have a tantrum, and in our mind, the first thing that would come to mind was to say, shut up. Like we never said that ever, but we would laugh about being like, why is that the first thing that comes to mind? So I think breathworks just allowed me that space to be like, this is the initial reaction that's coming up for my nervous system.
Mhm.
And this is how I'm going to choose to respond in the way that supports the life that I want to live. I want to have a
Yeah.
safe house. I want to have kids that aren't told to shut up when they cry. Um, and that goes into every area of my life, right?
Hmm.
If I'm doing something in business that's new and scary, I'm launching something or I'm traveling for a podcast or whatever. I have those moments of initial like, oh, I probably shouldn't go. The kids are too young. I should not go on this. I shouldn't go to blah 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 and do this. And then there's the place for me to stop, take deep breaths, focus on what are my goals, what do I want my life to look like, and I'm going to choose the aligned action with that. And that's as simple as it can be, but
It is. It is.
not
And I'm
easy.
thinking about it. I'm thinking about it myself too. I mean, breath is the first place I go also. Like even though I've used things like EFT tapping to kind of retrain my nervous system into new reactions and things, like before I think to do that or before I implement what I've relearned through doing that, there's always that like big breath that comes before it or during that kind of chaotic time or whatever it is that you're trying to manage differently or in a new way. It's always preceded by breath. And
Yeah, it's our primordial first reaction to things. And yeah, I love it for that reason. I'm a big tapper. I love tapping. I've done tap with Brad forever.
who doesn't love Brad Yates?
I love he was my first podcast guest.
Wow, that's
So
awesome.
it really works. Like I love it. When it was really helpful for me when my kids were really young, I used to do breathwork, my own recordings with headphones, but I just felt too stressed out to put them in and not be able to hear my kids. So tapping was amazing. My kids know how to tap. They know how to do breathwork. You just, you have to find the tool that works for you right now.
Yeah.
And they all do the same thing.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit about emotions. Because I mean, I think when we do think breath work, it does like you kind of alluded this before, like, oh, just calm down and everything else. But like there's so many emotions that have so much value to them. So
Hmm.
do you believe that like anger is required for change or like different types of emotions that sometimes feel a little controversial to people that I think sometimes people are trying to breathe their way out of?
Yeah, yeah. I'm not a big fan of labeling emotions good or bad.
No, no,
I
definitely. They all have a
y-
purpose.
yes, and like I don't think that we were built wrong with this whole subset of emotions we're never supposed to feel. But I do think that when we live consciously, and I think that's the gift that breathwork can give you is to just be conscious of your actions. Like I said, you can take a breath and choose how you're going to react. That is important. So a lot of us have negative connotations with things like anger or shame or jealousy because of the way people have acted around us before, or maybe because of the way we've acted with them before. Like
Sure.
think about teenagers. They develop hormones before prefrontal cortex.
Yeah.
So they're running around feeling these emotions and like it's extreme. Um, so there's a lot of things that I did as a teenager, with my first boyfriend being jealous that I'm like, oh God, I would not do that today. But but
Yeah.
I did it. So I think that's the goal of being a human is like how
Yeah.
much can you be conscious in your life and
Sure. It's
allow
like how
yourself.
the emotions affecting you is the way I look at it more than anything else. It's like is that strong stance or the jealousy or anger or whatever like keeping your nervous system in fight or flight or something like that, or are you able to like hold the emotion and use it for what it's intended for without it
Exactly.
hijacking your nervous system?
Exactly. I think and when you start to use it, that's when you can feel, a little bit of a like back to our state, which is like a human in their natural state feels joy and calm.
Yeah, absolutely. And you do a lot of work teaching being, which I love. It's like one of the taglines we always say on this show, like people who want to be more and do less,
Hmm.
that kind of a thing. So, and my work centers around a lot around becoming a lot, identity expansion, nervous system capacity, growth, all that kind of stuff. Um, do you see becoming and being as different things
Yes.
or complementary?
I think they're complementary. I think, this is actually a philosophical argument my husband
Ooh.
and I have been in before of me saying, well, like, this is what I want our life to be. This is what I envision for life. I'm a big manifester and I'm really good at it.
Mhm.
Um, and he's a Taurus, like very Virgo energy. He could be my husband. You could stick him in a shack in the middle of the woods and he would be just so happy. Um, and he's always saying to me, like, are you just unhappy right now with where we're at? And I'm like, not at all. Like, not at all, not at all. I'm like fully in our lives and I love our lives. I just also want to go to the Olympics on a horse. Like,
Right. You have a deep understanding of possibility.
yeah. So it's like, I heard this saying on Ed Milet. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to reach into my mom breastfeeding brain to grab it, where he said,
Good luck with that.
oh, I know it's gone. But the essence of it was, grateful but growing.
Yeah.
Like it's just so grateful for where
Yeah.
I'm at, really in my life. I'm not walking around being like, oh, my car or my house or anything like that. Like I love the life that we've built.
Right.
Um, and I also am excited for the growth to come. And I hope I always stay in that state because I yeah, I just
It
got
keeps
stuff
you
I
in the
want to
middle of a
do.
beautiful space where you can like kind of like reach, back to all the things that you're grateful for that have
Hmm.
already, been manifested and happened. You can reach forward all the things that are
Yeah.
possible. And there
And
you
you
are in like a
can't do them
beautiful
without
center
each
of it.
other. You can't do them without each other. Like if you're
Mm.
constantly thinking about the next thing that you want because you're constantly dissatisfied with where you're at and you hate the life that you have now,
Yeah.
and you're walking around thinking, I hate my life. I hate this
Yeah.
kitchen. I hate this bathroom. I hate, my old car, whatever. You'll never get to the next step because
No,
the
because
energy
want
that
is
you're
lack.
sitting in is an energy that's not going to grow. Like it's just constantly like an ungrateful energy. I think it's okay to be, having those feelings, but don't sit in it all the time. Like the way you're going to show up in your life is important. The way you show up to work, the way you show up to the people in your life, the way you talk to your kids, the way you talk to your spouse or people at work, it matters. Um, so
Yeah.
yeah, that's my 2 cents on that.
Hey, quick pause to let you in on something you might not know. You can book a totally free, no pressure 15-minute insight call with me? Yep, just you and me chatting about the real life stuff that's feeling heavy or unclear or stuck in your world right now. Whether that's in your business, your body, your relationships, your energy, all of the above, maybe. We'll explore what's really going on beneath the surface, and I will share a few personalized insights to help you start moving towards the outcomes you truly desire and get out of your own way with clarity, peace, momentum, and abundance. Just go to gamechangingconversation.com and grab a time that works for you. I can't wait to connect with you and hold space for your next breakthrough. All right, let's get back to the episode.
You can't separate them.
No, not at all. So tell us a little bit about what it looks like to do your programs. Is it program or programs or what do you have? Tell us what you got.
Girl, who knows? Oh, there's two ways to kind of get into the being method world. We've got an app called the Being Method Breathwork, and
Oh,
that's for people who want to just do breathwork. So if you're like, our most popular breathwork is called emotional clearing. Literally, I don't even know how many people have done this breathwork. You can find it for free on my podcast, which is the Being Method podcast. You can download our app and get it for free there. On our app, we also have live breathwork sessions with me. If you want to do a live one, there's Q&A. So
fun.
you can ask all your weird questions about like, how do I stop mouth breathing? Or I have trauma, whatever question you have, I'll try to answer it to the best of my ability. And then if you want to get breathwork certified, we specialize in, I always say like we're like the Harvard of the breathwork certification world.
Okay.
But I don't know, Harvard's kind of on my naughty list right now,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Like 10 or 20 years ago, Harvard.
Yes. Well, not even.
Not
Like,
even.
oh,
Oh.
maybe Stanford, if any of them
We'll
are
just
still
we'll just
cool.
say it's elite level.
It's elite level. Well, what I mean when I say
In a
that,
conscious way.
yeah, I mean, what I mean when I say that is just that we really focus on a lot of physiology and anatomy. So it's for someone who really like we get doctors, naturopaths, nurses. It's people who really, really, really want to learn the science. It's not going to be like you're gonna memorize a technique and not really know what it does to the human body. Like
Mm.
you're gonna know. So we really specialize in the science of spirituality, and we also really specialize in helping people actually build a business. I'm so tired of the certifications that certify you, and then they're just like, good luck to these people who have
Yeah.
never run a business before. So we instituted our business building modules a couple of years ago, and it's been amazing for our students. I actually get to see
Good.
them starting their business, and my goal is to have as many people doing breathwork around the world as possible. So that's been really great, and that's kind of where we at. We do somatic breathwork, but you're learning every single breathwork technique because you learn the physiology.
That's awesome. I love that. And I love that you're helping people follow through with making it into a business afterwards. Because I think that's something that's either missing or it's just not done really well by a lot of certifications. It's like they're missing the whole like developing traffic and all sorts of things. It's like you can't really have the conversations you need to have with the people that want to work with you if you're not creating the traffic to bring them in the first place. And I think a lot of people are missing the boat on that. It's like people understand what they need to do once they get the people, but they don't know how to get the people. So that's a huge missing link, I think, for a lot of people that are, and then people will just go like get another certification and another one, and they're over certified and under business trained. So I love that you incorporate that aspect of it. Um, was there anywhere else that you wanted people to find you, or anything else like that? I know you just gave us a few different good options.
Yeah, I think Instagram is probably our best bet. Our DMs are always open. So either I'm answering them or someone else is answering them, but we try to really answer all our DMs. Being Method Breathwork. Our website is beingmethod.ca, and there's our free app. And yeah, I think those are the places. Oh, I wrote a book. If you,
Yes, I wanted to talk to you about that, and
yeah.
thank you for bringing that up. Let's do talk about that for a couple minutes here, and
Yeah,
please tell us about how to cry because I love crying. I think there's
me too.
immense value to it, and I would love to hear more about that. So thank you for not
Yeah.
letting me forget that with my ADHD
No.
brain.
It's so,
I can't even blame breastfeeding because it's been like 7 years.
yeah, it's still, yeah. No, it still affects us. You're still feeding them. That's a
It's
lot of
true.
work. Okay, I wrote a book. It came out last year. It's called How to Cry. Basically, I think there's a lot of stigma around our emotions and crying. I shouldn't
Yeah.
feel angry. I shouldn't feel sad. Yada, yada, yada. I post videos of me crying on TikTok and on Instagram, and I get so many people
Oh yeah.
still
There's.
being like, "Oh, you're such a crybaby. Shut up." Like all these
Oh
things.
really?
Why is this uncomfortable? Yeah, so people, there's like, it's bad. Like there's people in my own family that think I'm unwell because I cry.
Huh.
So I've always been very sensitive, like a really sensitive kid. And I shut down for so long thinking that it was like bad. Like I came from a home where if you cried, you got sent to your room. So I've been like unearthing that part of myself, especially since becoming a mom. And I have another really sensitive little copycat me as such a blessing to raise her and be like, oh my God, there was nothing wrong with you. You were cool. You just needed someone also
Yeah,
sensitive.
a great mirror and help for inner child healing for
Oh
yourself.
my God, it's amazing. She's amazing. So yeah, it's been, a journey, and I wrote that book just because I know there's so many people out there who are deeply sensitive. Even the research we have with men, I can't remember what book it is, but it's about, raising boys. And they cite that little boys are actually statistically more sensitive than little girls. And I was like, it got me thinking down this whole rabbit hole of being like, well, how we treat them is that they're completely insensitive. They're so tough. And what does that do for men culturally? How do they end up so lonely? We've got a male loneliness epidemic. There's men committing suicide in like in shocking numbers. So yeah, I just wanted to write that book in hopes that at least one person would write it
Yeah.
or read it and just feel more comfortable feeling their emotions and being vulnerable and sharing their emotions because I think that's such a huge part of healing. And I obviously offer the tool of breath work. That's been the thing that's helped me just crack right open and
Yeah.
really feel things that
Is
happened
there
to me in
like
the
a
past.
crying breath? like a something that can
Oh
like bring
yeah.
it out?
Oh yeah, girl, it's our top breathwork. Like the one that's on our podcast for free and on the app for
That's
free.
the
It's called
emotional. Okay.
emotional
Yep.
clearing, but
Yep.
I
Okay.
get emails, DMs all the time, people being like, a man sent me a video of him crying, just being like, I have not cried since I was like a little boy. And yeah, it makes me so happy. Obviously, knowing that I had a dad who struggled with addiction. He was very like man's man, and he killed himself, right? So like it's very raw to my story of watching people try to contain their feelings and be a certain way, and it just ruins your life, like in ways
Yeah.
that I think people can't even imagine. Being vulnerable is okay. Having feelings is okay. It's okay to cry. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not weak. It's good. It's good to cry.
Yeah.
We have
Because
all the studies.
I don't know if you'll know this answer or not, but I I hear from a lot of my clients, and the majority of my clients are either perimenopausal or postmenopausal, like 40s to like 70-ish probably, I would say is kind of the main area. And I oftentimes will hear them say like they haven't cried in a really long time, like almost like they've forgotten how, or they've disconnected from it or whatever else. Is there any science around that? I mean, I understand the emotional things underlying it and we get to the bottom of that pretty easily, but like what do you have any understanding of that?
It could be cultural, like cultural. It could be the way that they grew up,
Yeah, it's like
right?
they were crying, they could cry, and then as they enter into like midlife,
Oh,
then
interesting. So you think
they're
it would
not
have like
accessing it anymore.
a hormonal.
Yeah, I was just curious, and maybe it's not something that you've looked into or whatever. I was just that was a curiosity of mine. So,
I
uh,
mean, it makes sense if you think about our cycle.
mhm,
Like I cry a lot more when I'm
mhm,
around to have a cycle. So if you take that away, yeah, it makes sense that if you don't have those surges of hormones, estrogen, that maybe you might find yourself feeling a little bit disconnected from that intense sensitivity that people can get with a cycle.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, you know what, I've never looked into it before, but I did listen to a podcast on that woman who's done all those studies on menopause. Have you ever heard of her? I think she has a book called Menopause. And
Mary
it's
Claire Haver.
yes. And it's it got me thinking about like the role of menopausal women in society. And maybe, I don't know, maybe there might be a benefit to having someone who's not um, riding the waves of emotions as much as, uh, you know, someone in their 20s and 30s who's a woman might.
Yeah.
To be like that crone, grounded presence. You guys have felt those emotions a million times over and over and over. And so maybe there might be, yeah, like
I think
that
that's what
more,
ends up feeling a little foreign to them though, is like now all of a sudden
yeah.
they're not feeling it and it's like, what is this, you know? But there's a lot of things about
I mean,
perimenopause
it
and
is
menopause that
fascinating
make you
because
feel that way. So,
in that book, she cites that women of those ages are statistically more happy
yeah.
too. And it's like, well, what is that? Like what um is it because no one's smearing poo on your wall anymore? I don't know. Um but
Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting. I think there's so many implications with crying. Like it could be purely physiological, it could be cultural, social, it could
Yeah.
be because of the person you married.
What do you
They're
see as
not
the
comfortable with it,
benefits?
so you
Like
just shut it down.
when you're crying more, what are the big benefits you've seen?
Mm. You release cortisol, number one.
Hmm.
So if you're stressed and you don't let yourself cry and release it, good luck. So that's number one. With that, like if you aren't crying and that cortisol is building up and building up and building up over years, then you're looking at chronic inflammation. Then you're looking at hormonal issues, autoimmune conditions. I mean, they've
Yeah.
tracked emotions to cancer, heart
Oh yeah.
disease, like all the big things, right?
All the
It
same things
is,
I see when people have been suppressing anger, people pleasing, all
yes.
that stuff for so
Yeah.
long. Yeah.
Yes. No, it's very real. It used to be such a woo-woo thing to say, which is like if you're a chronic people pleaser, but then you walk around your house having this resentful dialogue going in your mind all day. If I do everything for anybody, blah, 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 whatever that looks like, you are doing your body a great disservice. And if you do that for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, welcome to your new diagnosis. You will affect your body. So you just, yeah, it's not that you have to go like full out crazy. It's like, but cultivating an environment or being okay with just feeling emotions and
Hmm.
crying and know how to be healthy and healthy with them. Like if you're angry, don't pick up something and throw it against the wall. Like don't create an environment like that. It's okay to be angry. And like even so much as just saying like I feel really angry right now is okay. Like I have a lot of anger in my body currently right now with this social climate. Um
Really?
and I'm gonna take up Brazilian jiu-jitsu because I need somewhere to put it.
Awesome.
So
Yes.
I was saying to my husband, I was just like, I feel this tension in my body. Like I went on a run on
Hmm.
the treadmill last night and I'm just like, I envisioned myself like beating up men. And I was like, okay, I need somewhere to put this. So I'm gonna go and do, something. So it's like have an
Yeah.
outlet, whatever that looks like.
Jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, beat up your pillows, whatever. But yeah, you have to have a way to get it
Exactly.
out.
Somewhere to put it. I mean, there's people who are like, push against the wall. I'm beyond pushing against the wall. But if you're
It
there, that's
feels like
fine.
we're literally pushing against the wall. Like in so many things in life right now, it's like the last thing you want to do. It's like we're already doing it.
I know some people like it. I'm not. Like if I need to get that, I need to get it out.
Hmm.
Yeah, when I was a kid, my dad had a punching bag in the basement, and he would take my brother and I down there, and we would get it out. And it's
Yeah.
good. It's good to get it out. It's not low vibe. It doesn't mean anything
Yep.
because I'm in the spiritual world. Some people think like, oh no, you should be
We
loving
were
life
actually just
forever.
talking about getting a punching bag or a couple of those for our basement.
Yes, it's so
So
good.
me and the
It's
boys
so
all
good.
enjoy that.
I really believe in that energy is a good energy to get it out. Because
Hmm.
if you don't, you're going to bottle it up and it might come out in a way that's inappropriate, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to explode. If you
No.
already know how to take care of it, the explosion doesn't come.
Yeah.
And
You don't want to take it out on your kids. You don't want to take it out on other humans out there. You don't want to take it out on the road. And it just, yeah.
yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for all of this amazing conversation. I think it was
Thank
really
you for having
helpful. And
me.
yeah, it was my pleasure. And we'll make sure all the information of where to find you and learn more about your programs and certifications is in the show notes. And for everybody listening, I know you have so many choices when it comes to podcasts. So thank you so much for listening to Becoming More Me. Thanks for spending some of your precious time with me today. If you loved this episode, please leave a review or simply share it with someone else who would get great benefit from it too. If you share on social media, please tag me so I can personally connect and thank you. Until next time, keep taking bold and brave steps towards becoming more of who you want to be in this world. You are capable, you are worthy, and you are enough. And if your inner critic is still trying to argue with those facts, hit me up. We've got work to do.